Hello everyone, welcome to Rasayan Academy. My name is Jagriti Sharma, and guys, today we are going to talk about diamagnetic anisotropy in the NMR spectroscopy. So guys, in the previous video we had talked about the delta scale, that what is the delta scale and how are we getting different values for different types of protons, okay, in a particular molecule, and how are we getting different signals for different protons, right? So there is one more concept which is very important in understanding, that why are we getting different delta values for different protons, and that is going to involve the diamagnetic anisotropy effect. All right, so yes, without further ado, let's start discussing it. Okay, so in the previous video we had talked about the delta scale. This is our delta scale, and we have seen it that it starts from 0 to 10 for the proton NMR, right? Okay, now the question is that what we had already discussed, what are the shielded protons and what are the de-shielded protons. The de-shielded ones are the de-shielded protons are the one which resonate at a higher frequency, which resonate at a very high frequency, and also they are electron deficient. Yes, the nucleus which are, or the protons, right, we call the protons as the nucleus which are having only let's say one electron, right? So let's consider methyl proton. So when the methyl is connected to a group like nitro, let's say, okay, so then definitely we can say that because of the minus I effect, the carbon is going to have the electron density shifted towards the nitro. So that is why all of these protons would become very electron deficient, right? So that is our electron deficient proton, which means less electron density is surrounding the proton nucleus. Okay, this is our de-shielded proton. And what is a shielded proton? A shielded proton is one which is basically covered by electrons, right? And they are going to resonate at a lower frequency. Okay, so we are going to talk about the basically the values, right, that we are going to get for the different groups. Okay, so for example guys, for example, the hydrogen or the proton, if it is connected to it, if it is directly connected to an electron withdrawing group, let's say it is our proton of the alcohol group, right, then it is going to be highly de-shielded because of the minus I effect of the oxygen. Okay, and if let's say it is connected to a carbon which is connected to an electron withdrawing group, then the value is going to be lesser. For example, we are talking about CH3OH, okay, or let's say CH2 CH3 CH2OH and so on, right? Yes, so the value is going to be lesser as compared to this one. One more thing, we have a lot of things to compare over here, that as the electronegativity of the electron withdrawing group increases, the delta value also increases, which means let's say if the H is connected to oxygen, it is going to have a higher delta value as compared to if the H is connected to nitrogen, or to if the proton is connected to a carbon. Okay, so this definitely follows from the electron withdrawing character. Yes, we are going to see the values in a while. Okay, also guys, let's say if our proton is connected to an alkene carbon, okay, so if the alkene carbon is directly connected to another carbon, then it's going to be a particular value. However, if the proton is directly connected to an sp2 carbon over here, which is rather than getting connected to carbon, it is connected to oxygen, so it is going to have a much higher value as compared to our simple vinylic proton. Okay, yes, and this is going to be much greater than our simple sp3 methyl proton. Okay, so this is how we are going to see the transition between the values, okay, based on the groups which the proton is connected to. Also, let's say if the proton is connected to a electron donating group, okay, then it is going to be on the shielded zone. Okay, or let's say if the proton is connected to a carbon which is connected to electron donating group like our methyl silane, okay, the silicon is going to be more let's say, yes, it is going to be make the protons more shielded over here. The protons which are connected to carbon connected to silicon is going to be more shielded. All right, yes, this is how it is going to be. Now let's consider some of the values. I have a table over here, so approximately we are going to consider values. You don't have to learn everything by heart. So let's understand the logic. That first thing first, if we are talking about sp3 carbon hydrogen bond, right? So yes, this hydrogen over here, if we are considering about sp3, then for the methyl proton it is going to resonate from 0.7 to 1.3. You just have to see the trend that for the methylene proton now it is a bit higher value, and for the methane proton over here, for the CH proton, it is 1.4 to 1.7. So even if for a sp3 carbon we are talking about, the methane proton is going to resonate at a much higher frequency as compared to the methylene, as compared to the methyl proton, right? Just for the sp3 carbon. Now let's say guys, let's say the sp3 carbon is connected to a electron withdrawing group. Let's say it is connected to nitrogen, the carbon, okay, not the proton directly. Okay, similarly sulfur, similarly iodine, bromine, chlorine, and it can be oxygen also. It can be oxygen of the alcohol, or it can be oxygen of some group like sulfonic acid group and so on. Okay, so then the value is going to range from 2.9 and it can go higher as we are increasing the electronegativity of the groups. Okay, yes, it can go as high as 4.1. Now if we see one more thing, that let's say it is connected to oxygen of the OH or the alkoxy group, or let's say ester oxygen, then the value can be very high, 4.8. okay, for the ester oxygen it is connected through a carbon, right? Not directly connected but through a carbon. Similarly for nitro group it is going to be much more, 4.1 to 4.3, and for fluorine again very high value. Okay, so yes, whenever we are going to see a value from 3 to 4 ppm, we must assume that there is a heteroatom which is connected to the carbon. Okay, yes, it is going to be like this. Now we need to understand one more thing, that we have talked about the sp3 carbon hydrogen. So basically we talked about this hydrogen connected to sp3 carbon, which can be connected to various other groups. Now let's talk about the sp2 carbon hydrogen. So this hydrogen which is connected to a sp2 carbon, what should be the value for these type of proton? For these type of proton, the value must be 4.5 to 6.5 for a simple alkene system. Okay, so you have to notice one more very important thing, that for a simple alkene it is going to be 4.4 to 6, right? Roughly 4.5 to 6.5 ppm. But let's say if we are talking about the aromatic proton, it is going to be as high as 6.5 to 8, as high as 8 ppm, right? So is there any particular reason for that? We are going to talk about this one, right? So let's also see that if we have added an electron withdrawing group oxygen to a double bonded carbon, then also the proton value increases very high, 9.0 to 10. Okay, and if it is connected to an oxygen of the carboxylic acid, the value goes very high as 12.0. okay, very high value for the carboxylic acid proton. Now again let's notice one more thing, that we are talking about the alkene proton. So sp, we know guys, sp proton, or let's say the sp carbon, is much more electronegative as compared to the sp2 carbon, which is much more electronegative than the sp3 carbon. So till now we have seen this trend, that the delta value for the double bonded hydrogen is greater than the delta value for the methyl proton, right? So can we expect that the delta value for our triple bonded CH is going to be greater than the alkene? Yes, we can expect that. Okay, so if the vinylic proton is 4.5 to 6.5, then we must expect that this proton over here, the proton from the acetylene or similar alkyne, terminal alkyne, must be much more than that. But what do we see? It is very much of a less value. It is very less as compared to the alkene. Why is this so? Another important point to note down, right? So we have two things to discuss over here, right? So let's say we also talk about one more thing. Let's consider that the proton, this is another possibility, that the proton is directly connected to electron withdrawing group, where it is connected to sulfur, directly connected to sulfur, nitrogen, oxygen, and so on. So yes, let's see the values. As you can see, are as high as 5.0 when we are comparing it to simple oxygen connected to an R group. Okay, yes, now we are assuming that this R is some simple alkyl group like the ethyl, methyl, and so on, right? But let's say if it is connected to benzene ring, or let's say it's a phenolic proton, the value can go as high as 7.0. Again, there is something about the aromatic ring, right? There is something about the aromatic ring which is making the protons very highly de-shielded. We can say that there is something about the aromatic ring which is making these protons very highly de-shielded. Let's talk about it. What is it, guys? And also we have to keep in mind that the triple bonded proton is, yes, it is very less as compared to what must be expected. Why is this happening? Because of the diamagnetic anisotropic effect. Now what is this? Let's discuss this effect. So guys, as dekho, we expect a nucleus. If it is a nucleus, it is spinning on its own axis, right? It is spinning on its own axis. Okay, and also, yes, and also every nucleus is going to be surrounded by electrons which are spinning around the nucleus, right? Okay, so the electrons are again a moving charge. Yes, so the moving charge is going to generate a magnetic field of its own, right? So if we are applying a magnetic field into this direction, the atom or the nuclei is going to arrange itself in such a manner that the central portion is going to basically oppose the magnetic field. This portion is going to oppose the magnetic field, and the one which is outside is going to induce the magnetic field. It is going to reinforce the magnetic field, right? So here we can say it is reinforcing matlab ki increasing or supporting the magnetic field. Okay, which means that if there is any group outside, it is going to be highly facing the magnetic field. The magnetic field is going to hit that atom very harsh, right? And the ones which are at the center, somehow they are going to be very saved from the external magnetic field. Okay, so let's now consider different systems. Let's now consider the alkene group. Okay, the alkene double bond. Yes, so guys, the molecule, or basically the alkene, arranges itself like this. In the in the applied magnetic field, the molecule is going to arrange in such a manner that the electrons in the pi bond, now these are the pi bonds, the electrons in the pi bonds are going to be creating a magnetic field such that, again, at the center of the molecule, the applied magnetic field is opposed, and on the sides that you see, the magnetic field is going to be reinforced. We can say it is going to be reinforced, which means that the alkynyl protons are going to be de-shielded, right? Because they are facing the magnetic field very harshly. And we have talked about this in the previous session, that whenever a nucleus faces the magnetic field, it is going to split. The nuclear spin is going to split into two, alpha and beta. So greater the magnetic field it is facing, greater is going to be the splitting. Greater the splitting, greater is the ppm value. Okay, yes, so we are going to have a high ppm value over here for the alkenes. So now I guess you are able to understand that what is diamagnetic shielding or diamagnetic de-shielding. Now the inner zone over here, the inner zone is going to be diamagnetically shielded because it is opposing the applied magnetic field. However, the outer zone is going to be de-shielded because of the ring current. Okay, so the diamagnetic shielding or de-shielding is because of the ring current of the pi bond. Now this is okay, we understand this. What about the aromatic protons, right? What about the aromatic protons? We have a benzene, we have a greater ring current as compared to an isolated alkene. We have a greater ring current in the benzene. So the same thing is going to happen with the benzene, guys, that yes, that's in the center of the benzene, the magnetic field which is applied is going to be opposed like this, and however it is going to be reinforced outside. It is going to be reinforced, which basically says that the protons which are present in benzene, all of the protons are outside, right? So definitely all of them would be de-shielded, and hence the aromatic proton are having a greater value, 6.5 to 8.0 we just saw. It is much greater as compared to simple alkene, which is 4.5 to 6.5 ppm value. Okay, this is the reason that aromatic ring, greater the ring current, greater is going to be the de-shielding of this proton, right? So there is a common question in CSIR, guys, that if we are talking about simple benzene, if we are talking about organic benzene, then what happens? The value of the NMR value of these protons of the benzene is, of the organic benzene, is usually 7.5 to something like that. Yes, 7.2 to 7.5 for the benzene. But let's say if the benzene is connected to any transition metal, if the benzene is connected to any transition metal, then what do you observe? You observe that there is a disruption in the aromatic ring, and that is why these protons are going to resonate at a very much lower value, something around 4.5 ppm. Okay, so there is a lot of application of NMR spectroscopy. That is why I am making a series of video to tell you the logic, so that you are able to solve a lot of previous year questions on this. Okay, yes, so what happens is when the benzene is going to be connected to a transition metal atom, definitely there will be a disruption in the ring current, and it is going to behave like normal alkene proton. Yes, so we still have one more example to talk about, which is our alkyne, which is our triple bond. So guys, even the triple bond is going to have a higher electron density, no? Then why is it having a lower value? Because the alkyne is going to arrange in the opposing magnetic field like this. Now this is the applied magnetic field. The alkyne is going to arrange itself like this. Okay, the alkyne is going to arrange itself like this. In the inner zone over here, there is going to be, yes, magnetic field is going to be opposed, and in the outer zone it is going to be reinforced. But luckily the protons of the alkyne are there in the inner zone, and that is why they are in the shielded zone, right? So it's just about how the protons are placed. So in the case of an alkyne, they are shielded, and the value is going to be approximately around 1.7 that we have just seen in the table. You can go back and match again. Yes, so these are some of the explanations of diamagnetic shielding caused by the diamagnetic de-shielding caused by the ring current of the pi electron density. Okay, it's very important for all of you to consider this for different systems. Now here is a very common question which can be asked, right? So what is the question asking? The correct order of proton NMR chemical shift delta values for the labeled methyl groups over here in the following compound is. So you just have to correctly mark the order, what is going to be the order for the proton. Okay, so take your time and stop the video, try doing it by yourself, right? Now I'm going to explain it. So guys, as we can see very quickly, we are going to be able to recognize that this is a methyl which is connected to alkene. So the proton is not directly connected to the sp2 carbon, the proton is connected to a carbon which is connected to this carbon, right? So the value is approximately going to be around 2.1 ppm. Okay, now the other one, the methyl proton over here. Now guys, also it is connected to the sp2 carbon, but the other thing that we have to consider, it is connected to the aromatic ring. So definitely we can say that methyl 1 is definitely going to have a greater de-shielding as compared to methyl 4. This is only one double bond and this is a complete aromatic ring. Okay, yes, let's also talk about this methyl group over here, the methyl group 3. It is going to have a lesser value as compared to both of these. Why? Because there is a carbon in between, and as the distance is increasing, the minus I effect is decreasing, or the diamagnetic, see, it is not only the minus I effect of the ring, it is the diamagnetic de-shielding effect, and that is also decreasing with distance. So we can say that Me3 is going to have the minimum value. Right. Now, what about Me2? Yeah, do we expect it to have the highest value? First of all, it is a methyl group, which is the protons are connected to oxygen through a carbon, and not just that, the oxygen is connected to an electron withdrawing group. So the value must be around 4.5 to 5 ppm, something like that. Okay, the ester protons. All right. So yes, these are going to be the maximum de-shielded. So our order must be something like this, that Me2 must be the maximum de-shielded. So it cannot be D, it cannot be option A, must be something around C and B. Let's check. So who is going to be the least one? Me3. So here also it is Me3, here also it is Me3. After Me3 it must be Me4. So answer is over here. This is our correct answer, option number B. Okay, so I hope guys that you really understood the concept of the values that you are getting, where on the delta scale you are going to get different values for different types of protons. This is very, very important to understand. The more questions you solve, the better it would be for you. Okay, so guys, thank you so much, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, please share it with your friends as well, and please subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. And guys, I'm as you already know, I'm an educator on the Unacademy Plus platform. So if you want, you can join the you can follow me over there, because I take a lot of free classes, guys. I take a lot of free sessions over there, so that you are able to take the benefit of free classes, free live classes which I take, and which we call the special classes. Okay, and yes, there will be a description, there will be a link to the Telegram group. It is a very active Telegram group. All right, a discussion and quizzes are going on, so you can join. The name is Jagriti S. All right, and the link will be there in the description. The link to my Unacademy Plus profile will also be there in the description. Thank you so much. Right, have a nice day. Bye everyone. I'll see you in the next video.